Developing the assets, storyline, and game mechanics for this project required significant application of familiar and brand new skills. Programs like Photoshop and Illustrator were utilized for storyboards and mock-ups. After Effects and Audition provided video and sound editing, along with linking the animated 3D models from programs like ZBrush and C4D to the interactive interface of Unity Game Engine and Oculus Rift. Some additional skills like C# coding and Visual Studio, or altering metadata for 360 videos to be viewed on popular platforms like YouTube and Vimeo, were gained through the Spatial Media Metadata Injector. Conceptualization. The conceptual aspects of gameplay, including story, goals, environment, aesthetics, and the user interface, was developed utilizing storyboards and through discussion with focus groups of children ages 8 to 12 years old. These were rendered using a combination of traditional and digital media in Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, Cinema 4D, and After Effects. During this phase, it was crucial to review other popular virtual reality games for inspiration in gameplay, general design, as well as degree of difficulty. After analyzing 10 popular games approved for players in our target age range, a list of effective qualities was compiled and applied to the storyboards and user interface design. The development of gameplay assets was an arduous interplay of matching the intention behind the storyboards with a pseudo-realistic style match between animation methods, painstakingly sculpted character creations, and available prefabrications. The left column, for example, represents the progression from vector concept art to 3D character rigging set to a Photoshop background, to setting that dynamic in a 3D environment, and finally applying all of that concept art to an emotionally impactful environment that maintains all of its educational value while weeding out extraneous background distraction. The middle column represents the fluidity in moving from various software to take a 2D story, render a 3D character in that story, and keyframe that model into a living creature that illustrates the purpose behind the game. Finally, the rightmost column demonstrates how individual elements, which must be balanced in their style and scale so as to represent an immersive world which takes on the objectives behind our intended public health education for the target audience. Game environment. Models, objects, and characters were arranged in Unity 3D Game Engine to create the gaming environment, and C# coding was applied for basic movement and interaction in the environment. The scene was divided into sections according to individual game level areas, where a staging of game objects and characters was set up as a guide for the coding process. To accommodate the story, designated spawn locations were focused on the central landing area, 3 game level areas, and a bathroom hand-washing station. The game is designed to be operated with the Oculus Rift interface. The camera is placed to give the user the sense of first-person viewing in the environment, with virtual hands coordinating with the user movement of the left and right hand controllers. A mentor character explains the game's rules and operating features, but the general look and certain features overlaid on the environment was necessary to help guide the user's eye and understand how to interact. Photoshop was utilized to render a representation of these visual aids. To contrast with the very fauna-heavy background and stand out in a positive way, most of the user interface is saturated with neon cyan blues. This also provides a technology-aware mental separation from the natural immersive aspects. To successfully focus, engage the user's reward system, and drive learning objectives, the user interface features a germ level meter, a gold star trophy bar, and an action focus window. Additionally, a very complex but logical flow of game mechanics based on user actions needed to be represented for fluidity in the coding process. Cutscenes play an important role in video games by releasing the player from cognizant decision-making and allowing them to absorb storyline that explains the consequences of their actions thus far. Such cutscenes in GERM Park are a result of rendering in C4D with application of character rigging, spherical camera settings, an overlay of narration set to sound effects with music to place the user in an entirely immersed world which simultaneously educates and engages.
Dogs and cats may eat the eggs of parasites that are rusting in the dirt, or from things they pick up that were in contact with contaminated soil. These eggs travel all the way into the animal's guts, also called intestines, where they hatch. The worm then digs its way through the wall of the intestines to enter the animal's bloodstream. From there, they swim all over the body while they mature and get bigger. Some were coughed up from the lungs and swallowed again, making another trip back to the guts. and lay new eggs which are later pooped out.